This is the whole problematic nature of the US Israel relationship encapsulated in one bill. S3176 is an extremely important bill, which was passed last week by the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. The main purpose of it is to authorize Congress to provide even greater levels of weapons to Israel than was envisioned under the Memorandum of Understanding signed between Israel and the United States back in 2016. That was a record-breaking deal that was signed by President Obama to provide Israel with $38 billion in military aid and missile defense over the next 10 years. This bill that Congress is working on could actually add to that amount by authorizing Congress to appropriate at least the amount of money agreed to by President Obama. At a time where we see Israel proceeding with the annexation of vast parts of the West Bank, with the green light from the Trump administration, we see Israel clearly going on the path toward unilateral, one-state apartheid status. And for Congress to be considering a bill that not only rewards Israel for its bad behavior, but has absolutely no consequences for Israel engaging in this step toward annexation is really problematic. This is the whole problematic nature of the US-Israel relationship encapsulated in one bill. It's always carrots and never sticks. And this was the case not just under the Trump administration, but under Democratic administrations as well. It's outrageous that in the United States, where we're on the cusp or just have passed 100,000 deaths from the COVID-19 pandemic, where we don't have adequate safety nets in place for people who have been negatively impacted by this pandemic, who have lost their jobs, who are food insecure, and who don't have access to health care, that somehow Congress can come up with funds potentially for even more weapons to give to Israel to oppress the Palestinian people. S3176 is poised to be voted upon by the full Senate. We don't know when the vote will take place. It hasn't been scheduled yet. But the House last year in 2019 passed its version of the bill, which is even worse than the Senate version because it creates a loophole for Israel to avoid the restrictions and limitations imposed on all U.S. arms transfers by the U.S. Arms Export Control Act, and specifies that the president, in times of emergency, can waive the provisions of this law and basically send an unlimited amount of weapons to Israel without any congressional oversight or authorization or limitation on their use by Israel. This would further enable Israel to commit even greater and more atrocious war crimes against the Palestinian people.